What's up, Schwartz Force? Welcome back to the channel. So last week, we were actually supposed to take a look at this watch here, the Benyar BY5174, which, as you can see, is an homage of the Panerai Radiomir 1940 style watch. But I was shipped a defective watch. Bruh. Now, if you've ever been excited to have a new watch arrive just to unbox it and find out it's broken and useless, go ahead and hit that like button. And also do me a favor and let me know in the comments, what do you do when a new watch arrives broken? Because it seems like the process can vary from country to country and also depending on the seller and where it's shipped from or was purchased from. But I'm definitely curious to hear more, so drop me a comment and let me know. Now, I am a firm believer that everyone deserves a second chance. So even though this watch I was sent was DOA, fear not, my watch friends, because here we have Amazon Prime. And what that means is I put in a request for a replacement. And 2 days later, this bad boy showed up. Now, is it working? Is it any good? We'll stick around and find out, because we're gonna go into the full review, the good, the bad, the ugly of the Benyar BY5174. Now, in case if you're new here to the channel, my name's Dave. May the Schwartz be with you. And hey, did you know it's a great day to wear a watch? Today I have on the Parnis Rolex Daytona Homage, and I actually have it off of the bracelet and on this Strapsco Dasari Distressed Rally Leather Strap. Say that 10 times fast, I dare you. But without further ado, let's get into it. Alright guys, so here we go. We got the Benyars side by side, and you can see obviously which one is running and which one is not. So the left one is the replacement, the right one is obviously DOA. So what was weird is as soon as I got this, you know, it was working fine. I wound it up a little bit and it just stopped. Yeah, I can't see what the problem is, but I do know that it's not working, and this was a bummer because obviously if I had purchased this from AliExpress, the wait time to get it would have been at least a couple weeks, if not a month, depending on customs. And then obviously sending this back, you know, probably having to pay shipping, possibly not getting the full refund, or waiting for them to ship a replacement would have taken a lot longer. Now I understand some other countries, they have like return centers close by, so that's not really the same concern, or it's not as big an issue, which is awesome. But I do like that at least here in the States you can pick this up on Amazon, which is just a little bit faster. Obviously with Amazon Prime, great return policy, as I mentioned in the intro. I was able to get a replacement sent, and I don't even have to return the busted one until February 1st, so I have plenty of time to get this back to them. But anyway, just wanted to mention that you can pick this up through both Amazon or AliExpress, and I'm going to put links in the description down below. There's a bit of a price difference, so obviously you pick whichever one works out better for you, and they will be my affiliate link, so that helps me earn a little bit of commission. It helps out the channel, but of course it doesn't cost you any extra, so please do consider using my links down in the description if you plan on picking one of these up. Alright, so let's go ahead and start off with some measurements as we always do. So first thing is the case diameter. We're looking at right at 45 millimeters. If we include the crown, that's going to put us right at 49 millimeters. The lug to lug height, this is going to be the biggest, I guess, factor for a lot of guys out there as far as being able to wear this thing. It is, yeah, 54 millimeters, and the case thickness with that domed mineral crystal is just at 15 millimeters. So this is a large watch. Obviously, the Panerai Radiomir is a large watch as well. So it's all about wrist presence with this bad boy. Usually we do the wrist shot at the end, but I actually want to show you how it wears on my 7-inch wrist now, just so you can kind of get an idea. And look, all the extra holes on the strap just should lead you to understand that this watch is made for a larger wrist. Okay, so there you have it. We move the yoga hand out a little bit, and you can see how that wears on my 7-inch wrist. Almost takes up the full width, and then with that strap coming straight down, you know, sitting a little tall. So just something you want to keep in mind. If you like the Panerai look and those larger watches, this is definitely for you. I think if you have a 7.5-inch wrist or larger, you're going to be able to pull this off no problem whatsoever. Okay, and getting back to our measurements, we do have a lug width of 24 millimeters. This strap actually does taper down to 22 millimeters. The strap itself is actually pretty nice. It's kind of this fake or faux suede material, and then it is set into this rubber styled strap, and you can see the texturing on it's actually done really nice. I'm a little concerned over here on the edge. It looks like it's just maybe glued in. It's not stitched in directly. There is stitching along the side down to the edge, of course, which is not contrast stitch, just that kind of camel colored stitch, which looks really nice. It feels good. This strap is pretty comfortable. I like that it's nice and thick here at the lugs and then tapers down and gets a little bit thinner, wears really comfortably. And I like that we get some contrast with these strap, I guess you could call them holders. And these are also in that kind of silicone rubber. You get a signed buckle, just simple tang buckle in that Panerai style, and that is brushed with Benyar etched into it. So very large watch. I think because of the screw down case back, as you can see here, that bottom lip of the case back, I mean, it's adding about 1.5, maybe 2 millimeters of depth. I think that Benyar could have easily set this movement in just a little bit more to where the case could have been flush. That may allow the watch to sit a little bit more flush on the wrist. I mean, I will say what helps is having these curved or angled lugs, so it kind of grips the wrist and wraps downward, but at 15 millimeters, it's definitely chunky. Now, to point out a couple of the differences between the Benyar and the actual Radiomir, I will say that this is paying homage to the 1940 style, and you can see that here with the lugs. Some of the other Radiomir designs, you'll notice the wire lug kind of design, but here the 1940 has these thicker, more robust or substantial lug shape. Everything else as far as the case shape is spot on, and the finishing is actually done pretty nice. The creases here where it kind of juts out is done pretty well. You know, the bezel, everything being high polish is done pretty well, and this is a solid 316L stainless steel case. So really can't complain for buying a watch for, you know, 40 to 60 some bucks. It's actually really good. The other thing I'll point out is the differences are obviously on the Radiomir for Panerai, you would have the small second hands at 9 o'clock, but here on the Benyar, they put it right above 6 o'clock. Now the small second subdial does eat a little bit into the 6 o'clock, as you can see there. And these Arabic numerals are a little bit larger than you see on the Panerai, and they're a little bit closer to the edge. So in my opinion, I think that makes this watch look just a little bit larger because of that. The other thing is the 3, you'll notice, is more rounded, whereas on the Panerai, the 3, the top of it is straight, and then there's a sharp corner, whereas here it's all rounded out. And the 6 and the 9 are a little bit more smushed, I guess you could say, a little bit flatter and wider. So just something that I wanted to point out as far as some differences. Everything else though seems to be pretty spot on. So we have some information here on the case back. It is a screw down case back, but we're only getting 30 meters of water resistance. It is not a screw down crown, but it does hand wind. I'm not sure what the movement is. I really couldn't find any information on it. It's hard to say. We'll get into the movement as far as accuracy here in just a moment. But if you guys know what movement this is using, yeah, feel free to share some more information down in the comments. We have, of course, this domed mineral crystal. I personally would have paid an extra 10 to 15, maybe $20 to get sapphire crystal, especially a dome sapphire. But this gives really nice distortion. I will at least, yeah, say that. And then, of course, this sunburst sandwich dial in black is done very nicely. You can also get this dial in blue, and they have it with the same strap, or you could get the blue dial with a blue embossed alligator leather strap as well. So a couple options. One thing you'll notice is I like this kind of vintage color as far as the sandwich portion and the lume itself. And the good thing is this movement does not have a ghost date, so there's no date function on the movement. Now I will say that the hands itself, they're not too clunky. They feel actually pretty good. Could be a little smoother, but I'm really not complaining. We don't get any hacking on this movement, so even though we're in position 1, that second hand is still running, so just something to be aware of. So speaking of the lume, the sandwich dial portion, all of the indices and the Arabic numerals are lightly lumed, as you can see here. And then of course the minute and hour hands and the second hand are lumed a lot better. Now the lume unfortunately doesn't last too long, so while it's bright initially at first, it does fade out rather quickly. Again, at this price point, really can't expect much more than that. But I would have personally paid more to have like some BGW9 in there, some nice Super Luminova would look really great on this watch, without a doubt. Now the branding is printed there just under 12 o'clock. Other than that, pretty simple. There's nothing else that stands out to me on this dial. A con or a negative, kind of one of my gripes I guess I could point out, is when we get up real close, there's a gap right there on that small seconds hand at the 12 o'clock indice. There's just a little bit of a gap there. And you might not have noticed it if I hadn't pointed it out, but it definitely bugs me. As far as the finishing, I'm actually kind of impressed with how well these hands are done for this price point. It's hard to say you should spend a whole lot more on a different watch, but again, the biggest risk is you might get unlucky and end up with something like this right here, and that would be no good. So I think take everything here as far as my personal experience. I got one bad and one good. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and let this run on the time graph, and we'll see what kind of accuracy we're getting here. So I've had this running for a couple minutes, and as you can see, it's fluctuating a little bit. I've seen it go from about -7 to -14 seconds per day is what I'm looking at. The beat error is a little concerning. You know, it was 0.5 milliseconds. It was also 0.7 milliseconds at one point. The amplitude's okay, it's not great. And then of course, as you can see, 21,600 vibrations per hour. I think it's gonna fluctuate a little bit, but definitely acceptable. And like I said, you know, I've had better and I've had worse. And you can pick this up on Amazon. This is running about $62.99. You can choose between the black or the blue option. And you can actually find this on AliExpress. Very much affordable. And again, just depends if it's going to be better for you to purchase from AliExpress and you won't have as much of a wait, or if you're here in the States and you want better peace of mind as far as with Amazon, you can pay a little bit more and also get a little bit faster with a really nice return policy as kind of that extra peace of mind. But like I said, there will be links in the description down below. This has actually grown on me quite a bit. I've been wearing it this last week and I really enjoy it. I love the simplicity of the dial. Don't have to worry about the date. You know, accuracy isn't the best, but again, it's not my only watch in my collection, so it's not a deal breaker for me personally, but I think it's really good as far as the aesthetic, and I might pick up some extra straps for this bad boy and do a little strap swap feature coming up here in the future. So make sure you stay tuned for that, which is a good point to say. If you haven't joined the Schwartz Force yet, definitely do so down below. And I have a really cool video that I think you'll enjoy right here, so make sure you check that out. As always, may the Schwartz be with you, and I'll see you guys at the next one. Take care.